De proteger por proteger, yo creo que no es la ciencia, sino primero es comprender la importancia de las especies que existen dentro de la naturaleza, que son base fundamental dentro de los controladores biológicos. Porque de nada me sirve tener un bosque si no tiene vida. O sea, para mí lo más importante es la existencia de vida dentro de ese bosque. Es como tener una casa grande pero sin vida, o sea, no tiene sentido.
Around 20 to 50 million years ago, North and South America were separated, with the waters of the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans flowing between the two. Since then, the tectonic plates of these two continents pushed into one another, creating the Central American Isthmus, the strip of land that now connects the two continents. What were once volcanic islands are now a vastly diverse series of ecosystems residing within Costa Rica and the surrounding areas. Due to its geological formation, nutrient-rich volcanic soil, and tropical climate, these areas of land in which Costa Rica and Panama reside are some of the most biologically diverse places we have on the planet. Not only is Costa Rica home to over 500,000 species of animals, about 5% of the planet's biodiversity, but it is also home to several indigenous cultures, mostly of Talamancan origin, whose reserves cover around 7% of the country. Here in Kèköldi, this land is home to families of BriBri and Quebecer origin, and is known for its vast efforts in leading conservation. Today, the natural world suffers from climate change, deforestation, poaching, and other complex human issues that continue to break down ancient ecological structures and erase both biological and cultural histories. But in spite of the problems of today, there are still those who put their soul to work in protecting what they find to be sacred.
Ok, bueno, mi nombre es Sebastián Hernández, Balma. Los Balma son de origen español, el apellido. Y realmente, pues, es una historia muy larga, pero mi familia, bueno, nosotros originarios somos de San José Cabecas, somos indígenas cabécares. Entonces, mi abuela nació en San José Cabécar, que es el territorio que está a pie de monte del Cerro Chifipó. Migraron allá por los años de 1880. Ellos viajaban en este sector porque ellos eran cazadores y colectores, entonces principalmente venían a las costas a elaborar sal y caza de tortugas, huevos. O sea, inclusive existe un sendero que está muy cerca de donde estamos, que cruza de la costa a Olivia, y de Olivia sigue el rumbo hasta la parte alta. Entonces es un camino que tiene cientos de años de estar, y ahí está todavía, es transitado.
Sebastian began working in conservation in 1996 as a part of the bird observation program, where he was inspired to find innovation in conservation and increase the level of collaboration, both local and international, to protect these forests.
A partir de 1996 empezamos a hacer, junto con otro amigo, Pablo Porras. Entonces, en ese momento él trabajaba para la asociación ANAI, y ANAI manejaba varios proyectos de investigación, inclusive tortugas en Gandoca Manzanillo. Entonces, a partir que él estaba dentro del set de Anay, él decía, bueno, yo puedo captar algunos voluntarios para que vengan a Kèköldi, empezar a contar. Entonces, a partir de ahí, damos inicio al conteo oficial de aves. Es el primer conteo de rapaces en Costa Rica. Y lo hicimos en Kèköldi.
Following his introduction to volunteer collaboration, Sebastian had a plan. To house volunteers, both local and from around the world in the primary rainforest, for a multitude of research projects and direct conservation work.
Entonces, en el 2000 presentamos el proyectito por $6,000. Eso costó, $6,000. Y nos dijeron, es interesante su emprendimiento, es algo innovador, es algo que no se ha hecho en Costa Rica, con algo como eso. Es ciencia, pero usted sabe que ciencia es lo más caro que existe porque nadie te da un centavo para usted investigar. Tenés que generar tus propios recursos para poder hacerlo. Entonces, ellos dijeron, bueno, si ustedes creen que ustedes pueden, entonces podemos hacer el financiamiento de los $6,000 para construir una casa. Una casa para 6 personas. Acondicionado con todo. Pero yo entonces analizando digo, esta es una oportunidad. Entonces empecé a hacer los diseños yo, esto es mi diseño, empecé a diseñarlo, ok, entonces como yo visualizaba y tener esa oportunidad ya con recursos de $6,000 en aquella época, digo, esto yo tengo que transformarlo y maximizarlo al máximo donde me permita tener más gente.
And so the Kèköldi Biological Station was born. For more than 20 years, this base has contributed towards an array of scientific studies and has been visited by many scientists and conservationists to work on projects such as the Bushmaster Project, Kèköldi Hawkwatch, and today, GVI. Global Vision International is an organization with the goal of creating a global network of expert and volunteer work in conservation and community development goals. They have 6 bases in Africa, 5 throughout Asia, Australia, Europe, Latin America. Here in Costa Rica, the focus is on researching and protecting the local ecosystem. GVI began working in Kèköldi about 2 years ago and brings volunteers from all throughout the world to live and work from Sebastian's base in the primary rainforest. A big part of the day-to-day work that takes place in the rainforest consists of several routine environmental surveys each day. These surveys take place across many trails with varying environmental attributes. The 3 main types of surveys are herp surveys, which focus on recording population data pertaining to amphibians and reptiles, while bird point surveys record only birds, and biodiversity surveys record both. The typical survey schedule for the conservationists here is around 2 to 3 morning surveys a week, which can be anywhere from 5 a.m. to 9, usually accompanied by at least one other survey that day, either in the afternoon or at night. The diversity of this rainforest is very extensive, so the conservationists working at this base must memorize many of the species of birds and reptiles through both visual and audio identification. Consistently identifying what animals are making what sounds in the rainforest is a skill that is not really mastered on paper so much as in the field. During these surveys, the varying species identified are recorded onto an application that then organizes and formats the data, which is then exported back at base. To monitor as much space as they can, each member must scan one general direction assigned to them by the survey lead, with one of the members being the scribe who records the observations. Out here, all sorts of animals are repelled by our sense and the sounds we make, not to mention it's only really 1 hour of observations per trail, so camera traps play a pivotal role in capturing species that show up really when we're not around. This camera trap captured the moment a pair of Tyra playfully made their way across this fallen tree. About a month later, the same camera trap captured an ocelot getting a good scratch in on its journey through the forest. The data collected here is used on base for a range of research projects, but is also handed off to associated partners like the Hawkwatch. A remote base like this also allows for the unique opportunity to research rare species, such as this specimen. This is a rare species of narrow-mouthed frog, found by Sebastian here at the base. There are only a couple of records of this species in existence, and one of them was found right here in Kèköldi. These woods are so dense with vegetation and varying families of animals, they drive so much curiosity out of anyone lucky enough to explore them. You can hear much more of the life in this forest than you can actually see, so it can be easy to overlook many of the creatures dwelling in the brush. A beautiful thing that doesn't ask for attention has never been more true in these rainforests. However, GVI's work is not just limited to this ecosystem. Not far up north, we have the town of Cahuita. Along the Caribbean coast of this town, there is not only plentiful terrestrial life, but beyond these layering waves are an unfathomable amount of marine biodiversity. Unfortunately, for the most part, out of reach from human investigation. Here, tide pools host a multitude of species interacting both in and out of the water, not to mention the abundant coral reefs hidden beneath the waves. The coasts of these oceans are just the tip of the iceberg to a whole nother world. But not all marine life is just restricted to the water. These beaches are a generational nesting area for many sea turtles, including the largest species of turtle in the world. One that traces its ancestry back over 150 million years. The leatherback. GVI has brought interns down to this coast in order to support the Cahuita Turtle Rescue, an organization founded in 2015 that pursues the protection and release of sea turtles along this coast. To understand why sea turtle populations are at such great risk both naturally and from human interaction, and what is being done to protect them, we met up with Shelton Obando, the president of the Cahuita Turtle Rescue, to learn more from his perspective.
Yeah, I've been here for maybe 6 years now. I started doing morning census, collecting data, and based on that data, we started to put everything together, and that's how we started. We sent all the data to the SINAC,
right,
the entity in charge of providing the permission, and now we have this organization.
The National System of Conservation Areas, or SINAC, is part of Costa Rica's Ministry of Environment and Energy. They manage protected areas with instrumental legal authority and provide the Cahuita Turtle Rescue the permissions it needs to do the environmentally sensitive work that it does.
The main three turtles that we have here in the area are three. Those are called the leatherback, the oxbill, and the green one. And believe it, they are all in threat right now. The leatherback is more international. She traveled to Canada, she come here. But the other two species, for example, the oxbill and the green one, they're actually in super critical, pretty much red light, because people not only consume their eggs, but also they kill the turtle, they consume the meat, and they use their shell for cosmetic stuff. So I would say that three of them, the main three that we receive, are the same that are in danger.
Right.
Yeah, super critical.
Out of the 7 known species of sea turtle on the planet, all of them are listed as threatened, and 3 of them are endangered. 2 of those critically. Over just the past 3 generations, the leatherback sea turtle's population has declined by about 40%. For the hawksbill, these past 3 generations have entailed a drastic 84% decrease in mother turtles nesting annually. And the green sea turtle population has had the same decrease in nests, but around 48 to 67%. To support these threatened populations of turtles, the Cahuita Turtle Rescue, in collaboration with GVI, hosts surveys along these nesting beaches both early in the morning and late at night, in hopes of directly finding newly laid turtle nests. These walks are around 11 kilometers in length and about 3 hours in time. In the case that a turtle nest is found, the eggs must be collected and delicately brought back to the hatchery. But unfortunately on this day, we were beaten to the punch. Outcompeting the local poachers is quite an uphill battle, as direct intervention is not the duty of a conservationist. And it is just one piece to the complexity of why turtle populations struggle so much.
In nature, based on report that we have not only here in Cahuita, but also with our fellows in Pacuare, out of 100 eggs, only 35 gonna make, gonna hatch and gonna go back to the beach, right? Which is a super dangerous number.
Date? The 25th of June. That's good.
The reason for having super low percentage is because of climate change, because of erosion, and human being, of course. Sadly, out of 1,000 babies, right, to get back to the beach, only 1 or 2 will make it to the age of 15, when it's the right age, mature age, to come back to the beach and release and start laying again.
It's hard enough to find the eggs, but if you're lucky, and I mean very lucky, you just might get to see a mother. Leatherbacks lay their eggs at night and are easily disturbed by bright lights, so a redhead torch reduces the luminosity and spectrum of what the turtle can see, allowing one to raise their chances of having an encounter, such as this. During the nesting process, the mother goes into a trance-like state. This provides the team with a window of opportunity to take necessary measurements of the turtle, tag it, and even assist the mother in digging her nest. The eggs are immediately collected from the mother and brought back to the hatchery.
She's very even now.
Here, not only does this facility protect the incubating eggs from poachers and predators, but it provides an opportunity to increase the survival chances of the hatchlings upon release. Shelves of insulated styrofoam boxes hold many pounds of volcanic sand collected locally. Within these boxes, the eggs go through the incubation process. Once the hatchlings are born, they are moved into what is called the gym. This is yet another styrofoam box, but with sand stacked at an incline so that the turtles can walk up and down to gain some strength before their release. The Turtle Rescue hatches and releases turtles every week, which is why one of the resources that the rescue is in most need of is people.
We are missing a lot of human resources. This kind of job is super special job. Actually, the people that work with this project, they have the privilege of measuring, collecting eggs, putting labels, and of course, fundings, right? Because we don't have the support from the government. We only have the permission to do this, but we don't have like a methodology or a support from them.
In a busy world with quotas to meet and money to make, it feels good to see this many people help a creature that can't thank us back in money or words. Billions of galaxies, with millions of stars, and yet the incredible life on this planet sets our great marble apart from all the others.
In the last 10 years that we've been doing this, we started to work with the kids, right? Inviting them to the release, making theaters, making activities at the school, and we have started to see a little bit of change, especially with the kids. And you know that if the kids go with their parents and say don't eat eggs, parents will be okay, I will
Right.
step back. But it's a process, right? But we believe this is the right method.
A lack of government funding is a very limiting factor for productive conservation. But as certain technologies progress and become more affordable, a new opportunity for efficient work within small teams has never been more achievable.
And we have seen samples in other regions like Indonesia that they have this night vision drone that they can send during the night, and you can see actually the tracks by the night vision camera they
Right.
have. So we could have a tool, right, that can help us with the survey, not only one but twice, three. We believe that will make a difference.
In fact, the rescue currently has a fundraiser for an Enterprise Advanced, a thermal-capable DJI drone which can cover 10 kilometers of land on one battery charge. If used once every workday for a year, this could increase the ground coverage by over 2,500 kilometers, each of those kilometers being potential nesting locations for the future generations of turtles to come. The end of the week for GVI volunteers means traveling back up to base in Kèköldi. It may not be 105 degrees like Texas, but with more than twice the amount of humidity, the heat can really start to weigh on you. A decent walk back up to base can feel like you're in a crock pot, even shielded under the canopy. But some days, the weather presents us with a gift. A grateful relief as the rainfall cools off the rainforest, simultaneously waking up the jungle from its metabolic slumber. A good couple of hours of downpour like this is key to having an excellent night survey. Many of the reptiles and amphibians in these forests are nocturnal. This, as well as the rain which stimulates the local population of amphibians, gives us high hopes for a forest that's much more awake at night than during the day. And while typically our turtle volunteers get to sleep in early on this night, the forest volunteers got a damp jungle to explore. The terrain is slippery and the humidity is high. But once you have experienced just how different it all is at night, there's no better setting for exploration. This trail requires treading downstream in this freshly flowing river, which is a hot spot for all sorts of insects. And not just a multitude of insects, but also the reptiles that eat them.
Subadult green basilisk. That'll be also mid.
As of recent years, Costa Rica has been experiencing a drought, with some areas receiving as high as 75% less rainfall since 2019. So many of these streams are dry for weeks on end, making this opportunity for spotting a little bit more valuable. Frogs and scaly little critters are to be expected along these streams. But while some look at their feet for spotting, others are looking up. If you have a keen eye and know where to aim your torch, you can often catch a glimpse of something staring right back at you. A mammal. More specifically, a couple of kinkajou, playfully traversing from branch to branch in a rather flirtatious manner. An incredible sighting. Kinkajou are related to alingos, raccoons, and coatis, all mammals that you can also find in these forests. Moments like this derive a natural sense of sympathy for the active world around us that you never really get to hear or see. and for many, that turns into a working compassion. It's easy to have the same compassion for this line of work when one of the more common species of snake here looks like this. This is an eyelash pit viper, the yellow morph, which is one of the more common colors to spot them in. And as far as vipers go, it's not bad. But this one is much more striking to me. A hog-nosed pit viper. At the hour we spotted it, the viper must have been on the move for a reason. After all, night is their preferred time to hunt. Some opportunities to document a snake like this in its natural environment just can't be turned down. Such an elegant-looking snake. Easily identifiable by its upturned snout. But its beauty is deceiving, as the venom from this and many other vipers can cause muscular paralysis, hemorrhage, and in extreme cases, death. Which is why environmental education and safety is a key focus when training at base.
Remember vipers, even if they're dead, they can, their fangs can still push out venom.
Every animal plays a part in this massive ecosystem. And while snakes have venom for offense, many of the amphibians here have poison for defense. A strawberry dart frog. So common and abundant here that it's considered somewhat of an annoyance to monitor as a population. Through natural selection, a multitude of incredible designs and behaviors prevail by chance of survival. This rainforest is a flourishing example of how evolution functions and creates vast biodiversity. This is the Gage's rain frog. It mimics the Golfo dulce poison dart frog, which lives on the Pacific side of Costa Rica. Mimicry, poison, and coloration of all kinds can be found within the species of amphibians here. The hourglass tree frog. The red-eyed tree frog. The dwarf glass frog. The reticulated glass frog. And the granular glass frog. The list goes on, extensively. And while it's easy to get caught up in the scientific process of all that's going on here, there are vast cultures that developed around these environments with their own unique beliefs about the world around us. The BriBri people know this forest and all that dwells inside of it to be gifts from Sibö. In BriBri culture, Sibö is the creator of all things, and it's our duty to sustainably live and keep his gift of life thriving. The BriBri people have an extensive culture, one that isn't done justice in my own words, but can be better understood by talking to someone with vast experience in these mountains. This is Miss Balma, Sebastian's mother.
Yo nací aquí.
Aquí en Kèköldi.
Aquí Kéköldi, yo nací.
Ajá.
Aquí, como nosotros indígenas, acostumbramos tener bebé en el monte, no en el hospital. Nacen como animalitos afuera en el monte, de su casa. Entonces de ahí no hay agua, yo nací, entonces él bajó a hacer su casita ahí abajo, chapeó y a todo lo que yo me fui para abajo. Mi padre está chapeando para sembrar más cacao, no sé qué es. Entonces él vino, estábamos como a las 2 de la tarde, él llegó en la casa. Y ya yo estaba todavía, mi madre ya tiene otro bebé. Mi padre se fue a trabajar, llegó cansado, tomó su café, descansó en la hamaca y después dice, yo voy a echarme en baño. Se fue a baño. En la quebrada viene uno así, otro viene así, entonces son dos bocaduras así. ¿Ves? Y entonces hizo una laguna ahí nosotros, mi mamá lavaba, cogía el agua, todo ahí. Nosotros no cogemos balde de plástico. Nosotros cogemos agua con tubos, calabazos. Es el para el balde de nosotros. Y si se cayó, se perdió el agua. Sí. Y entonces mi padre se va a bañar, agarró los 2 calabazos para traer la casa. Y cuando él volteó, que gran mono brincó, se asustó él. Monos negros grandes. Ustedes no avisaron. Y yo, ¿cómo nosotros vamos a avisar?
¿Cómo se llamaba su papá?
Él se llama, Chávez,
¿Sabe?
Chávez.
¿Y su madre?
Mi madre se llama Rosa.
Rosa.
The howler monkey is the most abundant primate in Central America. Its large vocal cords and lower jaw allow this primate to project its voice over 3 miles away, making it one of the loudest land animals on the planet. The howler monkey is the star of this jungle, and at 4:30 in the morning, every morning, they'll let you know it. Cultivating their own crops and livestock is the foundation for their sustainable lifestyle, which makes for some minimal yet creative recipes.
¿Gusta también comer algunos frutos de los que crecen aquí en el bosque?
¿Almendro?
¿El fruto del almendro?
Claro, o sea, se pone a cocinar, se abre, qué rico se come.
Sí, ¿cómo se prepara?
Se ha cocinado, le lava bien y le echa, es como pegajoso. Bueno, ya está caído, ya tiene mucho tiempo, entonces la semilla se lava, y como el miel.
Ajá.
Se queda solo la semilla, se viene abriendo, entonces usted le abre y se va a tostarlo. Y si no, usted pone a hervir, mete en la olla, echa agua y pone a cocinar. Para estar bien, 2 veces echa agua, como echaba agua en frijoles.
Ya se ha visto en el bosque, pero solo sabía de los animales que los comen, pero no sabía que las
Sí, claro. Nosotros indígenas hace para chichas. Dice, yo, eso sí yo nunca he tomado, pero comido sí, a mí me encanta.
It's not only food recipes that form from this lifestyle. The BriBri utilize local herbs and saps for a multitude of medicinal cures.
¿Cómo se llama? Hay matita, hay como un chilito, pero hojita, flor, son azulito, moradito. La soja de eso es buena para tos.
para tos.
Y ¿cómo se llama? Zacate limón. Se cocina junto. Le echa jengibre, bien majadito. Usted le echa ahí. Y si usted tiene miel de ¿cómo se llama? Abejas de can, no de, ¿cómo se llama? Abeja africana, no. Y le saca la miel. Y ese miel se tiene que hervir, eso es dulce. Entonces usted le hirve para que no se malea y usted le toma con eso.
Con el zacate de limón.
Ajá.
Y es para la...
Para el tos, para la garganta, le limpia todo.
Many of the tribes here have been around the Talamancan mountain range long enough to see a drastic decrease in many of the species that live here. Whereas many mammals and reptiles used to be seen in abundance, they are becoming more scarce as a result of monocrop culture and infrastructure cutting into these dense habitats.
¿Ustedes cuidan del bosque?
Y ahí sí, tiene que cuidar porque ya hay todo el mundo está volando, por decirlo, está diciendo la gente botando todo a la costa, de para acá de Puerto Rico, pero ese es puro. Ahí es las iguanas, ahí es el perezoso. Todos le tumbaron madera, no se murieron todos, hasta el cuzuco, quién sabe, se aplastan. Y dice que una está cuidando, para nada está haciendo. Cuando una gente paisano va, mata ese monito, ya va a tirar las iguanas porque le gusta comer por huevos. Le mata una iguana, le quita el rifle, le monta o si no le pone a la cárcel ahí por matar ese bichito. Y como no ve ellos cantidad pobres, las iguanas viven palos laureles, laureles, avillos, hay todos palos ahí. Y aún no hay, ahora es puro pelado vive ahí.
¿Usted ha visto mucho cambio aquí en el lugar, en la zona, como estaba explicando, de cortar la tala de árboles? ¿Ha visto ese cambio con los años, desde que usted era pequeño?
No, sí, yo digo, a esta hora que yo estoy ya señora, antes todo esa puro montaña, todo montaña. Ahí los morenos tienen su finca, pero ellos limpian su finca y arreglan su cacao. Ahí viven los perezosos, ahí viven los monos, ahí viven de todos animales. Y arriba, hasta los iguanas. Cuando el tiempo va a sobar, ellos se van en la arena a escarbar y va a poner huevitos ahí. Pero ahora ya no, ahora no sé dónde están, se murieron todos, todas esas maderas se cayeron abajo.
It's no simple issue to just save the environment. In the areas of human-caused damage, those parts of the primary forest can take hundreds of years, often thousands, to fully grow back. Climate change, deforestation, poaching, environmental pollution, these are all problems that have been generally grouped together, continuously debated, and swept under the rug generation after generation. Most countries and many people won't do anything until we see a drastic negative change. But it's a gradual change, one that we can mistakenly get very comfortable with sweeping under the rug until it's too late. But from the birth of recent technologies and the growth of environmental knowledge, there's a vastly growing part of the youth that wants to see change, and feels the pressure that we have to protect our one marble. And for the Balma family, the conservation work carries down to Ire, Sebastian's daughter.
Mi nombre es Iriana, pero casi todos me conocen por Ire. Soy nacida y crecida acá en Kéköldi. Y pues mi familia está acá también y pues he estado aquí desde el primer día y no me he movido ni fuera del territorio ni fuera del país hasta el momento. Y empecé muy pequeña, no sé, apenas empecé a caminar, empecé a explorar. Mi padre siempre ha tenido un gran aprecio y un cariño a la naturaleza. Mi abuela anteriormente, cuando era un poco más joven, trabajaba en las fincas, los lotes, y yo era una de las personas que siempre iba con ella para acompañarla. Sentía un aprecio andar atrás de ella, ya que no podía andar sola, la acompañaba a ella. Y empecé, quizás de los 8 o 9, empecé a trabajar con él, hacer los tours. Cuando él tenía que hacer tours, tenía que hacer caminatas, ya sea por diferentes proyectos, sea por ranas, por plantas, por aves o incluso animales.
It's harder to make a living in biology, as jobs aren't as guaranteed and can be a risky investment. So Ire is currently getting a degree in computer engineering, which will allow her to save up the funding to study biology, which she can use to further pursue researching and conserving these forests. Although not everyone who pursues working with the environment is necessarily doing it for the right reasons. Hence, some areas known for environmental protection sometimes evolve into more profitable touristic locations.
Cuando estuve en la secundaria, sí hubieron algunos que estuvieron interesados en la biología, pero no por algo que fuese que le gustara o algo que naciera con ellos, sino fue por la parte de economía, por turistas y por todo eso. Entonces siento que no es lo mismo, porque no es algo que te nace, no es algo que te gusta hacer, sino es que simplemente lo ves como una fuente de ingreso más viable. Entonces dice, bueno, voy a estudiar alguna rama de biología o ecoturismo, turismo, conservación o algo así, y no con el corazón, por respeto, por orgullo de lo que tenemos, sino es más que todo es por turismo. Siento que es algo que me ha inspirado mucho a la protección de áreas, más que todo, porque no es el simple hecho de protegerlos a ellos, sino también proteger el área, el lugar donde viven, porque de nada sirve protegerlos a ellos y desbaratar el lugar donde viven. Entonces pienso que ha sido eso, que ha sido inspiración también de todo esto.
Living and working with people from all around the world, despite our cultural differences, reminds us that we are all on the same rock. Besides, it is these exact differences that make for such a diverse group of humans, all with slightly different skill sets and aspirations, but brought together by the curious opportunities that this forest provides. And it would be a shame to speak of all the curious minds at this base without mentioning Dougie.
I'm Dougie. I'm the Senior Program Coordinator here at Kèköldi. I'm from the UK, but I've been working in conservation in different parts of the world in Africa, in South America, here in Central America for the last like 5 years. And yeah, that's me. Yeah, so my granddad was a birder, and then my other granddad was just loved wildlife, and so I'm kind of like a mixture of them. So I've always loved wildlife, and yeah, it was always what I was meant to do. I've spent quite a bit of time now in Latin America and in South America, in Central America, and traveling around, and I've seen how much is going wrong. To put it simply, the mass deforestation for agriculture is ridiculous. Whenever you're traveling through the mountains, whether it be the Andes or the Talamancas of Costa Rica, you see on both sides massive plantations or for coffee, for banana, for pineapple, and so protecting every single inch of forest that we can is so important. And it's one of the things that I've loved about Kèköldi, because the amount of animals here is amazing. Indigenous reserves as a whole throughout the world have greater levels of biodiversity than national parks, and it's been really cool to see it from the start to the point we're at now. It's been amazing to see, and we've also seen some cool stuff as well, which has been fun.
And so the sun rises once again on Kèköldi, reminding us there is still work to be done. Conservation work is a seemingly endless battle, but one that, as long as it exists, will have people of all different backgrounds and experiences pitching in to help. Kèköldi stands today as a beacon of environmental perseverance and a hub for research, not only thanks to the Costa Rican government, but even more so to the figures that fight tooth and nail to defend this natural wonder. It's a field that inspires one in all sorts of ways. The people here aren't just doing a job. Although it can be seen as a responsibility to protect these forests, it's out of the curiosity for pure life and discovery that these people get together. For more than 20 years, Sebastian's base has contributed to the development of environmental conservation, and clearly it is just the beginning of this base's history. And as for GVI, many interns will come and go, not only to and from this base, but to the coast to help with the turtle population as well. As long as there are people in this world with a curiosity to understand the life on this planet, the Earth's ecosystems have a fighting chance of surviving the same destruction we humans produce. For now, it seems that the future of conservation is in good hands, and the natural world may just thrive through our continuous protection and devotion to Sibö's gibbs.